Hello and welcome to another episode of the Metal Verbalizers podcast. Today I have a Tour Stores episode for you with members of the band Electriceel. So we could start by having you introduce yourselves, and if there's anything else that you would want to say before we start.
Well, here we are here to me, the guitarist and singer, with me.
I'm Javier, and I'm the bass player and the singer in Electriceel.
We're very happy to be here with you.
Yeah, well, finally. Nice to meet you, Johan.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, of course, I have a shirt on me as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, you want to start with some stories?
Well, we have prepared some short stories, but we also have long ones. So we're going to start with the short ones. So it was a blue one, right? Yes. Okay, so start talking about our shows. We usually have very bad luck with the weather, and here in our city, it's very usual to have rainy weather, but we have very bad luck because we went to south of Spain, the very south, where it's usually very hot and never rains. And when we played there in Murcia, it rained a lot. And also, even sometimes that place that goes wrong even here. That it is one day when we played and it rained so much that the river in the whole city flooded.
Oh.
So we have very, very, very bad luck with the weather. Yeah, it's an expression here that you think so bad that you make the weather, you make rain. It's an expression here, so we are maybe the worst singers ever.
We're unlucky not only with the weather, but the last gigs we had, they also were just in the same day that there were other big events. Like one day there was a marathon, and a lot of the streets and the roads were closed, so it was a nightmare to reach the place that we were gonna hit the gig. Apart from the marathon, in some other gig, there was a cycling race, and also all the streets were closed. Some people that wanted to come couldn't come because they couldn't make it on time. We also shared the same date with a big festival that was like, I don't know if it was free or if it was...
Yeah, it was a festival that it was one street ahead, and it was completely free, and one of the biggest bands of Spain was playing there.
We played the same day, very close to that. We are so lucky with the dates and the places we go.
Yeah, that gig in particular was very... I mean, in fact, it was very sad because we traveled a lot of kilometers to play in front of 4 people.
Yeah, that was like 4 people, literally.
Yeah, in front of 4 people, and one of them was my girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was cool because it was from the 8th of September to the 9th of September, and the 8th of September is Javier's birthday, and the 9th is mine. Yeah. We started the concert during his birthday, and we ended up the concert with my birthday. So it was fun. It was a long travel.
Yeah,
we had a good time.
Very particular thing in that gig, in particular, is that my girlfriend is, you know as well. My girlfriend is a person that enjoys drinking more than other people. So, yeah. So when we played there, that it was in A Coruña, in northern Spain also, but yeah, very, very close to Portugal. She was like very upset, like, "What? We came here, no one's watching you, I'm super sad." And she began to drink and drink. And she didn't stop at all. And when we were packing our things and ready to go to the hotel to sleep, she was like super drunk. When we were charging all the amplifiers and the drums in the van, she sat on the back seat and she
She passed out, but very close to passing out. She was way back then.
So, okay, we said goodbye to everyone, to the 4 people that came, and we said, okay, let's go to the hotel. And while we were driving through a unidirectional street, yeah, my girlfriend suddenly opened her eyes and said, "Stop the car." Okay, do you want to throw out? Yes. We opened the door, me and my girlfriend, we went down, and she began to throw up in the middle of the street. And they said, like, okay, let's wait. But it was the kind.
It was a one-way lane.
One-way lane with one car, only a space for only one car. And so a car came from behind, and they said, okay, so we have to move. So
It was still throwing.
We were in a city that there was no one in there, and the guys left because they couldn't stay there waiting for us, and me waiting for my girlfriend while she was throwing up. That was pretty funny.
It was a good one. Yeah. I think a couple of weeks ago, we were partying a little bit. Yeah. Briefly, he was throwing up, and I was like, I think that the last time that I helped somebody while she was throwing up, it was you. And wait, and the previous time, it also was you. So I think there's a pattern. I'm kind of figuring it out. But
Yeah, she really liked drinking. Okay, so
well, I think we have some more stories. Yeah, like, well, as we told you, we went to the west of Spain. No, we went to the west to A Coruña.
that was
And it was not that good of a gig. There was a few people, but I don't know why. The southern we go, the crazier the people are. We played a couple of gigs in Sevilla and Almeria, which are 2 cities in the south, and people there are very, very, very fan of metal. In one of the last concerts, a guy that probably was in his 50s, he probably was 50 something. He was in the mosh pit, and he jumped, or he was held by some people, and he ended up hanging from the beam of the ceiling and doing pull-ups in the middle of the circle pit. It was crazy. I don't know. People there are awesome.
Yes, so it's very curious because south of Spain, it's very, very metal. I don't know how to say it. People are super fan of metal in south of Spain. It's kind of surprising because in the north part, I think that it's much more typical people to enjoy punk music, and a very specific punk because it's the kind of punk music that it's made only in Spain. I don't know why. It's very typical. But in the south of Spain, people are super metal. I mean, all kinds of metal also, not only classic metal, like for extreme metal, it's also very typical in the south of Spain.
Yeah, it seems like from an outside perspective, so to speak, that Spain has a very dedicated fan base within metal.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. There's a couple of good bands that has quite a few. Yeah. And there's also a very fun story from another city, a gig we played like 4 years ago, the one in Murcia.
Oh yeah. Which one do you want me to tell? Because we had a show there in a festival.
Yeah.
That it was like very crazy. Yeah. It was the first time we went outside of our city to play a show, and we stayed because it was a festival that lasted for 2 days, Friday, Saturday, and we went to play on Friday, but we stayed on Saturday. So we had a lot of things to speak about. We will end up telling the most funny story of all. But first of all, I think we're going to talk about the peculiar people that we met sometimes.
There's always, in every gig, there's always somebody that stands out. And there's weird people and they come to the concerts. And there's one that has a very special place in my heart from the concert we're talking about. It was a guy that walked on clutches. He used like a clutch to walk, and he usually come to he went up in the stage and started like playing air guitar with a clutch, and he was doing it in every freaking concert. And the guy, I think it was the second day, he fell down like 2 stories worth of stairs. He fell down like a lot of stairs, and he stood up like it was nothing. He just stood up, grabbed his drink, and kept partying. It was.
I think this guy was sort of kind of like my girlfriend, because I think he enjoyed drinking a lot. And he was like super drunk, and I mean the sound that he made while he was falling down the stairs, we all think that we had to call the ambulance, because it was. It was terrible. And you see this guy, because he wasn't young, he was like 50 years old or so, and he fell from the stairs, and we were all like, he's dead. Like, we have to call the ambulance, we have to do something. No, he stand up. Where's my beer? Let's go. And not only that, because there's always, in every city we play, there's always a person that it's like the guy. The guy that comes, speaks to you, and it's not. We love them. Yeah, it's very cool. But some of them, I mean, you don't know even how to do. Okay, very cool. Thank you very much. But I don't know really how to explain, because each one is different. But those peculiar guys.
I mean, they come, they tell you the gig was good, they maybe buy some merch, that's fine, but very, very intense, right? And our drummer, he's not here, but he's a really nice guy. He's called Johan. He's not the most social guy. He's very nice, but he's an introvert. Okay, so when he has to talk with people that he doesn't know, he's not very comfortable. And we love watching him dealing with these people that come and are weird. Like, we usually, when we see that some of those people go to our drummer to speak, we're like, okay, let's see how it goes. Let's see how he deals with them.
I think that one I remember most is back in the show with Anoma.
Oh,
that 3 women of like 30, 40 years old came shouting to the drummer, "Oh, sign me a drumstick, give me a drumstick, sign me a picture now." And he was okay for the first 5 minutes, but I think the next 40 minutes he was like, "Guys, I'm not okay."
So bad that I think it was my girlfriend and your girlfriend.
Yeah.
They went to help him and to rescue him from the girls because they were very, very annoying, and he was very upset, but he was trying his best not to be like very mean to them.
We were like 3-4 meters ahead of Leon, and we were looking at him, and his face was like this.
Oh my god. It was good. It was good times. I think the best story was the one with
the best story. Johan, are you a fan of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
So I've watched like The Return of the King so many times I can't even remember. But every time I'm watching it, I almost know every sentence that is said in the movie. So the day we played in Murcia, Friday, we played, and after the show, I got like super drunk. So
We only talk about it.
yeah, I'm sorry. You know, we're thrashers. You know, you can drink. He doesn't drink, but don't worry because I drink twice, so it's okay. So that day it was I was on the Saturday morning. I had like the biggest hangover I've ever had, and people from the festival told us come at 2 p.m. so we can have lunch together, and we have like a little party there. So I went. I had lunch and I tried to drink water, to drink Coke, drink everything, drink beer again. So it's my hangover passed, but it won't. So I said, okay, when do shows start again? At 8 p.m. So at 3, 4 in the afternoon, I went back to the hotel to sleep so I could recover from the hangover. And when I went into the bed, I turned on the TV and
Yeah, the TV that was the Return of the King.
The Return of the King was in the TV.
Yeah.
So I lowered the volume and I took a little nap while The Return of the King was playing. So after an hour or so, I began to open the eye, and I was looking at the screen, and I recognized that Rohan's chivalry was charging in front of Minas Tirith, and
like the most epic scene of the.
I was looking like I remember this. So I turned up the volume a little, and suddenly thought, this is not the sound of the movie. What am I hearing? And then I lowered the volume and realized that the sound I was hearing, it was not from the movie. It was from the room, from the next room, and I what I heard, it was a girl screaming like
like crazy.
a lot, moaning a lot, and I was like, oh my god, it's happening. And to this concert, Asier brought his girlfriend, and so the first thing as I thought was, this man is doing things with her girlfriend in the room on next to mine, and the whole hotel knows what they are doing. So I took my phone and I text him, Asier, what are you doing? I hope it's not you. And yeah,
Chill, bro. Yeah, and I'm listening to the messages. I was like, no, man, it's not me. I'm also hearing it. There was I think it was the guitar. Yeah,
one of the guitar players of another band that played in the festival was there with his girlfriend having a good time.
And I think the best part is that in the same corridor of the hotel, we were Samir with his girlfriend. Oh, no, it was Samir, only Samir. Me with my girlfriend, and also some friends of mine that came to the concert and stayed in the same hotel as we did. And the funniest thing was that when we met our friends to go to the concerts, we were like, "Have you heard the girls screaming like crazy in the hotel?" And they said, "Yeah, during the chivalry of the Rohan of Rohan." And we're like, "Can be true."
The chivalry of Rohan, like we went.
It was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah, after the same night, I went to speak to the guy that was doing things and said, "Hey, are you in room 209?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, you woke me up from the nap." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. But sorry." I hope you had a good time. And I think that
that's
so far. I mean, next week, we are touring with Biocancer.
Oh.
Through Spain.
Yeah, right.
We have a whole week with them, so I hope that the next time we can tell you more stories.
Yeah, sure.
And that's all about touring. Yeah.
So yeah. We would like to speak also something about Electriceel in general, or the new album or something, because
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
if you want to ask anything about the album, free.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we could start by just talking about like the next coming album with the plans there. When you plan on releasing that, and if you can tell some details about that.
Well,
About new album.
yeah, I think there's the date already for the new album. We started writing new songs, and we know that we want to come up with a video before the end of the year. But probably next album, if it comes, it'll be in 2025, I think, because we already have some leads for the second half of the year. We want to take some time to do things right and write a good album. So we will probably not hit the studio until the beginning of this year, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that we have spoken about this first half of the year. We have like a lot of gigs and maybe too much. So we decided to rest a little bit the second half of the year, and so we can focus more in writing, because we have a lot of ideas, a lot of songs are not finished, but we have. We have things that if we develop everything correctly, we can have even more than an album, I'm pretty sure, but we have to develop things. I mean, and we want to do, we want to be more precise and more efficient in the songwriting. We want to be a step ahead of the previous album and not just write songs in the same way, like okay, there's a new song, learn it and record.
The first two albums, we just recorded whatever we came up with, and we were not very critical with our stuff. If we liked it, we said it was good. We just came to the album. But I think that we're gonna take some more time for the next album. We're gonna be more creative. We're gonna think things thoroughly and say like, okay, we want to have this, this. Maybe we have to add more of this so that we can move a little bit more during the concerts instead of being like very focused playing, like taking more care of the songwriting and doing things a little bit more consciously.
Yeah, that's something that you notice when you play with bands that are, more professional. You can see that things used to work differently than in an amateur band, let's call it. So we are going to try to make one step further and to take more care of the songwriting, but also trying to be original. You know what it's like to be an artist, because you have to make things that sound good, that still that people that hear your music still are going to like, but also you want to go one step ahead and try to be more original. It's maybe trying to put all this together, and let's see what happens, and be critical with everything you write, instead of letting everything pass with no filter, like being more.
Yeah, okay, cool. So hopefully we can do that before second half of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's kind of like how I'm thinking when it comes to like writing new music. That it's kind of like a balance there that you have to think about, like trying to do something different, but still kind of trying to kind of I guess you could say like kind of keep the essence intact of the band. So like I can imagine that could be very, very difficult at times.
Indeed, I think it's especially in thrash metal. It's very easy to end up doing like generic and doing the same thing that a lot of bands already do. So we try to make things a little bit different, but not going out of the genre. I mean, we don't mind incorporating some elements of black metal or crossover or death metal or whatever. But as you said, it's hard to balance. There's a lot of new bands that are, in my opinion, they're doing that very, very well. That they can be original, but as you said, they keep the essence of genre we're playing.
But I think that as a band, we still do not have very clear what our essence is. I don't know if I explain, because we just have an album and an EP.
Yeah.
And we do not have clear yet which path are we going through, because we still don't know if we have. I mean, I don't even consider that the different songs in our last album have something in common. I consider that some of them are very different to others. And I think that this could be like an additional difficulty while thinking, all right, let's keep the essence. Okay, so the question is,
what is the essence?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. What is it? I mean, I still don't know. I still don't know if we are going to write something, maybe thinking mostly in progressive thrash metal bands or in more classical thrash metal bands, or maybe more like black thrash bands. I don't know. I still don't have it clear.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people tell us when they're thinking about the last one. They say that each song is different. Like there's not a lot of cohesion between them, and some people love it because they find something different in each one, and it's interesting for them. But at the same time, I'm not really sure that if that's a good thing or not, because when you hear albums from big bands, like you can tell that that song is from that band because they have something in common. They're like more similar to each other.
Or just the song of the album. You can notice if you know a band pretty well, you hear a song you never heard before, and you are going to say this song is from this album.
Yeah,
because that album goes like with a consistency, and
maybe it's the production, maybe it's the sound that they came up with during the recording. I don't know. Let's see. We may do another crazy album with each song a little bit different, or maybe we found our essence a little bit more. Right now, I can tell you that the things that I'm writing are more words and vector and more technical stuff, and maybe even some death metal. I don't know if the whole album is going to be like that, or if it's going to be a little bit different. Let's see what other can come up with. Because writing songs.
Yeah, I don't know. I have plenty of ideas, very different one from each other. I have like some very extreme stuff, but also I have some like rock and roll based things. I mean, I don't know. I'm just.
Definitely.
I have too many ideas, and I don't know how to put them together. That's I need help for that. And one day I will come to the rehearsal and with a bunch of songs and riffs and shit, and say, okay, your time. do my job. I don't know what to do with this. I have this, but I don't know how to do it. Please, like having a puzzle and say, okay,
your time.
I drew the puzzle. Now you put it together.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean that's something that I've been thinking about. Like that could be very like difficult as well with like writing music. That you have like all these ideas, like different ideas, but to kind of like take each idea and kind of like put them together and like actually making something of it can be quite difficult sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes that's something that I want to like be very mindful from the next album. Sometimes you have like different riffs from different places or from different songs that you discarded, and you ended up like mixing all of them in that whole song and trying to make things fit with each other, and you end up with like a Frankenstein of a song, and that's something we want to avoid.
Yeah,
we would like to make it like more natural or more fluid songwriting, that everything comes based on the previous thing, or at least in relation with the other riffs, instead of putting things together and mixing them like crazy.
Yeah, I remember that when we were writing the first, Straight Out of Depth, I remember when I was recording, in particular, I was writing it in Guitar Pro in a program. I was writing it, and I remember that time was post-pandemic, so you couldn't stay out of your house with people and that. So I spent the time going to the rehearsal room with my computer and writing. And I remember that the part that goes all the way to the guitar solo on the previous part, it was like super organic when I wrote it, because I didn't even, I was writing parts and I was thinking, what can I write now? And automatically I thought, oh, I'm going to take this and everything together. Like that song in particular is very organic, and I could have I mean, it's 5 minutes of song, I think. It would maybe could have 8 or 9 easily, because in that moment I was super inspired when writing. I was like, oh, you know, like when you're writing a letter or something and you begin to write and everything comes together super easy, and I say, hey, I have a new song.
I think it's true that the first time you presented the song, it was, you know, we have to discard some parts of it.
I mean, yeah, the first time I wrote that song, because I wrote it twice, I deleted the complete song. I deleted it because I didn't like it. It was super simple. And I said one day, all right, let's start from the beginning and with a new song. Do I have anything I want to keep from this one? No. So trust me. And so I began to write it again, and it was like super organic, super natural, and everything came together super easy. But other times, like what is happening to me now, I've tried to write songs a few times, and I write a riff and I stop, and I don't know what to do next, and everything sounds like not cool. Everything sounds like thing I've heard before, and I say like, what can I do? Everything sounds the same. I don't know. I have to put more effort. Maybe I'm not inspired enough. I don't know, but I've tried a few times, and it didn't work. So that's what I'm going to do. I have riffs and I stop. And every day I try to write, I have a new riff, but I don't have any song. So that's where I'm going to go there. Ayer, yes. You have 37 different riffs. Put them together and do a couple of songs. Because I don't know.
That'll be my idea. Yeah, I think you have to be fun. And a lot of times you only come up with a kind of riff and you know how to work with it. Luckily, the songs that I'm coming up with, I'm having like a good time and I'm inspired. So I can make like more than one riff at the time. So I think they're coming up good. But it's gonna be a fun time when we try to do something with the songs of Tanya.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll tell you how everything's going.
Yeah, so that's also a thing, by the way, that I was thinking about a little bit that I find pretty interesting as well. It's like the song length, like the length of songs, like kind of how do you know when a song is done? You know, like how do you know when a song is supposed to be a little shorter or maybe a little longer?
Yeah, that's something that has been bothering me a lot, because I'm also trying like to analyze the bands that I like their songwriting, but more like regarding their structure, like how many times they repeat a riff, how many times they do the chorus, do they play a lot of solos, like how they structure their songs. And I'm realizing that a lot of them, like they repeat things a lot, and I don't feel them repetitive, probably because I like the songs. But when we're writing, we repeat a part like more than twice, and it's like, no man, we've played this a lot already. Let's change the structure. So it's very hard to know when to say, okay, the song's done. We have to finish it here. How lengthy the songs have to be. Like I think the average in our previous album is around 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, there's always some short ones, but there are always long ones. But the opinion of the people in the duration of the songs is sometimes it bothers me a little bit because it, particularly in thrash metal, people are like, no, why are you making songs that last more than 4 or 5 minutes? I mean, this is thrash metal. You have to do it very fast and very, I don't know. You have to feel that someone is killing you with a chainsaw and it's over. I mean, that's it. But I don't think that that's something bad. I think that
No.
when you have a good song and you can keep going on with good ideas and technical stuff and thing, and I mean not repeating the same riff for 8 minutes and then a beginning and an end, and you have a song of 7 minutes and saying, all right, okay, you could cut this before, but no, but and if you have good ideas and you're going to make something a little bit more progressive and a little bit more experimental, you can go on. And bands like, for example, Havoc, you know Havoc? Pretty sure?
Yeah.
You know the album Conformicide?
Yeah.
It's an album that when it came out, the people who make reviews were like, oh, this album, I don't like it because songs are too long. I don't know what they are doing. This is thrash metal. You have to make this, and this. And I've listened to it this last week. I was also listening to it. And every time I listen to it, it gets better. Because I notice details that I haven't noticed before. So I think that it's the best way to make an album. So, the songs must be absolutely polished in every way. So the duration and things, it doesn't matter as long as your idea is coherent. So this is what happens to me with, for example, Conformicide, that it has to be taken slowly. I mean, you cannot listen to Conformicide once and say, I don't like this album. Listen to it more times, and you tell me.
Yeah. If you are a crossover band, I will tell you about songs, and that's it. But I think we give ourselves a little bit more room, so we don't really we're not very strict with the duration of the sounds. As long as we are presenting something new, we can keep the song going.
Yeah, by the way, I was thinking about, for example, that you mentioned Conformicide by Havoc, and you know, like the song length, and people thinking that maybe like it's too long for thrash metal, etc., etc. But I mean, you can kind of look at it at the other way, you know, that if you're not supposed to do it, maybe that's exactly why you should do it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a very, very smart point. But also, I think that they might be kind of right, because if you have always listened, for example, to Municipal Waste, and Municipal Waste is 2 minute song and 15 songs in an album, or 17 or 20, I don't know how many. And
Yeah,
if
it's
you
about there.
listen to that, you have no idea, and you say, why is this so long? I mean, you cannot understand it, but I think that it's also interesting to see more long songs and more complex songs too.
Yeah, I think the example of that we have is a really good one, because I'm a really big fan of the band. I'm wearing the shirt right now of the Time Is Up, and when the when the next album, I think it was the V, it was called, or it was five, five, yeah. When it came up, I felt it was different from the previous one. The point of no return, natural selection, Time Is Up. And there was something, excuse me, there was something different to this one, in 5. And at first, I didn't like it because a little part of their essence was different. But at the same time, I've always been complaining about bands that keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and they don't change, and I feel them very boring. And after some time and after some thought, I felt like, maybe they're doing the right thing. Like they've done their very thrashy era, the Thumbs Up, the Natural Selection. They're really good albums, but now they're evolving and they're doing something different. So I think like they were doing that as a band, but also the whole thrash metal genre can do that also. Like it's okay if people come up with different things, with more progressive stuff, with longer songs, with more technical. Like also the whole genre can develop and evolve and come up with different things so that it's not the same thing over and over again all the time.
Yeah. And we were kind of like into that a little bit earlier as well. The kind of thing that it's kind of cool with music in that sense that some music, some bands, albums, or songs, etc., kind of takes a few listens before you start to really appreciate them, and that's another example of that.
Sure, I remember it happened to me. Like I have a very vivid memory of that with Bloodbath. It's our death metal band from Sweden. I remember listening to them and I was like, holy shit, with that. I'm never gonna like it. And a couple of years ago, I found again the Nightmares Made Flesh album, and it was like, damn, this is pure gold. I love it. And I remember the cover art of the album, and I was like, listened to this before, and I remember that I hated it, and now I love it. So some things, and I some time to get used to them.
Yeah, I can remember that same thing happened to me with Pleasure to Kill by Creator.
Yeah.
The first time I listened to that album, I turned it off after 30 seconds, and I say no more. No more. I can't understand this. What is happening here? I cannot. Why is he shouting? I don't know. And after a few years, I decided to give him a second chance. And now it's one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how it can really turn 180 like that. I mean, interesting enough, I was kind of like going through that journey as well. You know, like with death metal, for example, that I wouldn't say that I didn't like it at all, but I didn't quite understand it, and I feel like the kind of like growl style just did not work at all for me. But then just one day it was just 180, and I started liking it a lot, just all of a sudden.
Yeah, something clicked. I don't know. You know, it happened to me. Before playing Electriceel, I played in a thrash death metal band. We didn't get to record anything, but and there I started liking like more extreme stuff, like more death. We had a female singer, but she did like good roles, like very deep ones. I got used to it, and yeah, it clicks. Death metal, it's something that I like. Not like the heavier and slower stuff. I prefer faster, more progressive, like Band Death, like Bloodbath, but things like Morbid Angel, that kind of heavier, slower stuff haven't clicked for me yet. But yeah, it's something that one day you don't like it and the next you love it.
Yeah, it's very interesting how that works.
I think that right now I'm going to play a little bit of a snob or a nerd, but I think that a thing that we always forget about music is that music, even it's metal, even it's anything, it's art. That thing that clicks in your head when you suddenly start to enjoy extreme metal, it's a little bit about understanding. Because maybe with 3 years old, you can enjoy extreme metal, maybe, but you don't know what you are enjoying. But when you have like some perception of what are you listening to, you cannot listen to death metal or something and say, oh, this is really cool. No, because you are not understanding it. And that is what happened to me with Pleasure to Kill, because I didn't understand what was happening there. I couldn't. And I was a drummer, and I couldn't understand what this guy was playing. And same thing happened to me when I first listened to Atheist, that technical death metal band. And I didn't like it because I didn't understand it. But when I listened to not as technical as atheist or something, and I began to understand things. Then I went to listen again atheist, and I enjoyed it a lot and say, this is great, this is wonderful. Why haven't I listened to this before? And I think that like some paintings, music is a little bit about understanding, because you maybe see a painting that might be like somebody has thrown a bunch of paint cans to the wall and you cannot understand it, but maybe someone who really appreciates art and has an understanding about everything and enjoy it much more than anyone else. No, I think that it's we must never forget that music is also art.
Yeah.
And we have to make ourselves to understand something.
Yeah, and I feel also that it kind of like when it comes to music that like the context, for example, is very important as well. Like for example, you've seen all these like kind of videos where people go up to like random people on the streets and like show them some like brutal death metal, and like it's like they're not gonna like it. It's like 99% of the time, if not even 100%, they're not going to like it. So you kind of have to do with that as well. It's like the context in the sense of expectations, like what do you expect of it, and the way that I'm listening to music is that I have like different moods and stuff like that. But like if I'm not in a mood for death metal, for example, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as if I were.
That's it.
For sure. Yeah, I think I don't know anybody that started into metal like with very heavy or extreme stuff.
Yeah.
We'll start with our raw.
We all start with AC/DC. That's it.
I guess I skipped that and I started with Metallica, and I was like, nobody starts with death metal or nobody starts with greencore or black metal. That's something like when you get bored from the things you listen when you start listening to that.
Maybe you don't even have to get bored. Maybe it's just about listening something and you go into your opinion and goes like, oh, yeah, maybe this is better, maybe, but you maybe don't need to get bored of it. But yeah, I know what's the point.
Yeah, and as you said, there's a music for every mood. I've been listening to brutal death metal all the time, and I also want to be hearing ballads all the time.
Yeah, this is something that might surprise some people, but even metalheads have headaches. So yeah, we are sometimes not going to listen to brutal death metal if you have a headache, right?
There's a very good song. I think it's the last song. It's the American Way from Cyber Breaks. I don't know if you like the band or not. For me, they're a very big influence because I love the way they write their songs and the things they sing about. And this song especially, I think it's called 31 or 41 Flavors. It just talks about there's a lot more music apart from metal, and you don't have to be like the nerd guy that only listens to metal and thinks that everything else is pure shit. And like there's much more stuff, and it's cool to like other stuff rather than metal. And I love that there's a thing about that from other rates. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about it with quite a few like metal fans and metal artists as well that kind of say that they're not only listening to metal, and they're not only influenced by metal either. Like they can be influenced by all kinds of stuff like country, jazz, like etc. I've heard people mention like Johnny Cash, for example.
Sure, that hits me pretty hard because apart from metal, I love country and bluegrass. So today I was listening during my work. I was listening to country, and I think I cannot remember which band, but there's a YouTube channel which is Bus Invaders that talk with the people or the bands that are touring. They get into their van or their bus, and they see how they live during the tours. And some of I think it was actually Toxic Holocaust. I don't know. I have to go back to the video, but they were talking about which music they were listening during the tour, and it wasn't metal. I think it was podcasts or some other music, and they were like,
Yeah.
hey, we're playing shows almost every day. We're constantly playing metal. We want to take a break from that. And it's nice to see bigger artists also talking about that.
Yeah, I
I
recognize that as well. I believe it was Toxic Holocaust, like you say. I think that if my mind is not incorrect, I think it was when he sat down with a member of Exhumed when he talked about that. Yeah,
probably.
I mean,
I love Exhumed too.
yeah,
yeah, he loves it. Yeah. There's a fun fact about one of the upcoming Electriceel songs, but one of the riffs, I I I wrote it while I was listening to the movie Grease. Okay,
yeah,
and this is absolutely true. I mean, I haven't. We are going to, at some point of our career, we are going to release a song. I am not going to tell you which song, and I'm not going to tell you which riff, but there is a riff somewhere that it's inspired by John Travolta, okay? Just for you to take in mind.
yeah. That's pretty interesting, funny fact right there. I mean that is kind of interesting, you know, like that whole thing. That like, I think that when like a lot of fans think that it's like you know, pure metal and like you only need to be metal, but it's kind of funny because a lot of the bands that they are listening to does not think like that. I find that pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that when you're not maybe starting, but at some point you always try to be like the most male guy and to be like the showing all your dirts and all your, and then you realize that the people that have been a long time in the metal world at some point are like, yeah, dude, like be whatever you want to be, just enjoy the
Yeah.
music. It's cool to listen to other stuff. It's cool to dress as you like. You don't have to be showing off all the time. And that's, as you said, a lot of the times, the artists that those guys that are always showing off are completely chill with being however you want to be. And I think
Yeah.
that's how people should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to have like that approach as well. You know, it's like I like what I like. Like if it's metal or if it's not, it's like it doesn't matter. Like if I like it, I like it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usual that people that are not into metal sometimes do not understand it, because a few months ago I was at work and I was listening to Cypress Hill, and some of my workmates passed through and listened and said, "What are you listening to? This is not metal. Why aren't you listening to metal?" I mean, they don't understand it, and it's like, why are you drinking water instead of beer?
That's funny. That's something that happened to me. I don't drink alcohol. I've never drunk. I've never smoked. And quite a few times I've had people telling me like, "Oh, but you are a metalhead. You should be drinking." And I'm like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's kind of like interesting that kind of have that idea as well, because like, you know, a whole thing about, you know, metal and the kind of like lifestyle is that you're not supposed to kind of like follow those type of trends and be in a certain way. So it's kind of interesting to have that view as well for that reason.
Absolutely. Like I think metal started like from rebellion and from not following what established. And it's fun that now there's things established around metal and people are following it. It's like messing up the whole essence of the.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic.
It is. It is. Never thought about that.
Never thought about it, no.
I don't know, you have more questions, more things you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, like for example, something that I've been kind of interested about is like the name, for example, Electriceel. If you want to talk a little bit about that, what the origin of that?
The name, it's basically like when we were searching for a name, because we had like a few ideas. I remember one of them was Rust Pile. I can remember just a few, but we were trying to look for something that sounded like, you know, like corrosion or something. And I said, like, well, we can. I suddenly thought, well, Electriceel, like killed by electricity, you know, Electriceel, but also that matches with electric eel,
Yeah.
the animal. And we have like the story of the of Straight Outta Depths is about a giant electric eel, you know.
That's what's in the cover art.
Yeah, that's what's in the cover art, and it's basically the thing that I am one of the things that I'm most afraid of. That it's the depths of the ocean.
Yeah.
I am that person that when it doesn't touch the sand in the sea, it completely loses its hit. You know, I completely go mad. I cannot. I must be touching sand in my feet if I am in the beach, you know.
Yeah.
And so that is like you know, a representation of the fear, you know, what is going on down there. You know? It's like we always think about a big monster or a shark or something that is going to catch us, but that's maybe it's basically about killed by electricity and.
Yeah, it was like a little baby breeds. I thought it was funny. With it, and we just rolled with it.
You know, we still don't have clear if we are a joke band or we are a serious band. That is very important also because we are going to play like municipal ways. We're going to drink, we are going to smoke, we are going to talk about shit, but then we are going to talk about the injustice of wars and society and things, and it's like we still don't have it clear. That's what I was talking about before when we were talking about our essence. We still don't know if we are serious or not.
Whenever I lyrics, I tend to be like more philosophical. I try to talk about yeah, at some point or sometimes maybe in a time that I'm listening to more crossover, anyway, it comes to mind like, oh, we can do some fun stuff. It's hard to decide in which side to fall.
Yeah. Maybe we should do two different bands. One serious and the other one about beer and puking and shit.
The band of the band.
Yeah, man, I think that was probably like what kind of like draw my attention to the band, I believe, from the beginning. Like the kind of name and like the logo. And at that time, Straight Outta Depths wasn't released. So it was like the album art for To Protect and Sever.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that name as well, like To Protect and Sever.
You know, that name is taken from a Simpsons episode. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Please tell.
Yeah, there's an episode where Itchy and Scratchy, Bart and Lisa go to inside of the TV, and there with Itchy and Scratchy, and they get inside of a police car. And the police car, there's like a sign that is Protect and Sever, and that's where I took it from.
Yeah. I like the fact that you said that you like the cover art because last gig we were playing, we had a stand with all the merch, and a lot of people stopped by the merch and started looking at the cover art from the Server, and they love it. I think it's the colors. I think and they are like very vivid. It's a nice combination of colors, and people usually find it interesting. I mean, like the cover art from Straight Outta Depths is also very cool. It's very detailed. I love it too. But the Protect and Server cover, like it stands out more.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to metal t-shirts, like people, the eye catches first those colors that are actually a mixture of different ones. For example, last month or so when we went to see Hell Reaper and Toxic Holocaust, there was the stand with merch, and the t-shirts of Toxic Holocaust were like
a rainbow.
yeah, and it was like, well, I want all of them, and I think I bought all of them. So yeah,
In general, everything's good.
that's it.
Yeah, if you find something that's cool and has a little bit of life and colors, that's usually a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, both covers were drawn by my girlfriend.
Oh,
She's been
okay.
doing the cover art for the band. Only she'll do the third one too.
His girlfriend Rose, mine puke.
Yeah. That's how we.
So, question: do you think we should make the next cover with more purplish, yellow, bluish colors, or do you prefer anything else? I mean, this is not a final decision, but we want to know. We want to know.
Yeah. That's a very hard question. I know. I mean, for example, if I'm like kind of thinking about the previous ones for Protect and Sever and for Straight Outta Depths, I'm obviously a big fan of both of them, and you know, it's kind of like the fact that they're not quite the same is like a positive thing for me. But yeah, I mean, something in that vein, you know, with the colors could definitely be cool. But I think it kind of like depends on the cover art in general as well, like what it depicts. Like some cover arts might make sense to go for the more colorful stuff, and depending on if it looks different or something, it might make sense to do something else. So it's kind of hard to answer, really.
Absolutely. Because I was just thinking about the cover art, and I was thinking like, man, we should have colors.
Yeah, I had a few ideas, but the last one I told them, they told me to shut the fuck up. So
probably I don't remember.
I thought it was a cool idea, but maybe because I was listening to a lot of the band Goo, you know?
Yeah.
And I said, we are going to make an album cover as if we were Goo, but no. They told me to shut up. So, okay.
Yeah, I started thinking about the cover art after what happened in the previous gig, and I think about the color. I believe that, as I said before, Holocaust does very well. Like all their images, not only the cover arts, but everything they do, like they know how to make things that are eye-catching, and they have very vivid colors. I don't know. That's something.
Have you thought about a name for the next album?
I have a couple.
Tell me one.
The Trinity of Mayhem.
What does it sound better? The Trinity of Mayhem or Capitron? No. We have things to discuss.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. But after the tour, because the tour is going to be tough. I mean,
we've never played other songs in the world.
No,
I'm not even worried about the throat. How's it gonna? If our voice is gonna keep up with all the gigs or not?
Yeah,
I'm usually not sore after singing for 1 or 2 gigs, but never done 6 in a row.
I'm nervous.
I want to know your opinion. A lot of people tell us that they love that there's 2 different voices, and some people hate it. What do you think about it?
Like 2 different voices.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit boring and kind of answer the similar thing like the last question, that it kind of like depends on the song. I'm not really against it. I mean, I think that in some songs and in some context, it could definitely be a positive thing.
Yeah, it all depends. It also depends on that, I think. I think the Traxon does something similar to what we do in Bull do. Yeah. Like having 2 different voices. Maybe the ones from Bull are more distinct to each other than the ones from the Traxon. But yeah. You have to nail it to make it sound good.
Yeah. I don't know. That's it. The first idea that we have when we were going to make a band, we said like, I want to sing. No, I want to sing. Okay, so let's sing both. Who does that? Who? And I said, okay, so let's do it. Okay. Enough. An example. Give me one example. Okay, there's one. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it's kind of like to kind of go back to what I said earlier as well. Like, who does that? I don't know, but that's why we should do it. Like,
Yeah,
if no one else does it, that's why we should do it. Like, that's also a way to look at it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
So, what is your favorite song from Electriceel? From all the albums, you know, a lot of albums too. Okay, which one is your favorite?
Another very difficult question.
Do you have a favorite one?
I don't really know. I like pretty much all songs from Straight Outta Depths.
That's even better. That's how it improved.
Do you know that even we hate songs from Electriceel?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We're very bored of playing.
You know, the longest song in the first EP, One Day Closer to Death, you know,
Yeah.
We never played that one in... We've played it, but not again, because we are so bored of playing it. You know, it's like very...
It's very long and repetitive.
Yeah.
People actually like it a lot. Like when I asked people about their favorite song, a lot of them told me that they like One Day Closer to Death. But then you're playing it in States, and it's like a very demanding song. Like it's fast for drums. I think it's demanding. The riff, it's quite hard to keep up with the band. So we hardly ever played on the set.
I think that when we played in our rehearsals on Sundays, it was like, which comes now? We looked at the set list and said,
okay, we're gonna skip it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm kind of like, I guess, sort of biased towards a song like Holiday in Cambodia, because it was the first song I heard. Yeah. But I'm also like I said, like pretty much every song on Straight Outta Depths I think is great. And you know, like when I'm listening to Straight Outta Depths, I usually just listen to it from start to finish. I usually don't like listen to single songs. I listen to the full thing. But I mean, definitely the title track is a great song, and I mean Punks is also awesome. I mean, I could pretty much say any song from that album, really.
There's a fun fact: the second song, "We Were War."
Yeah.
Well, if you don't take into account the intro, yeah, it was originally planned to go in the EP, into Protect Me Forever, but we didn't have time to record it. Yeah. And I think it's like one of the most peculiar songs of the album, which a lot of people liked it. We have asked people, and a couple of them told us that it's their favorite one.
When we have to take songs from the set list because we don't have time or something, always the first one that goes off is We Were War. That's the first one that say, okay, this one, bravo.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really fun to be on the EP, and I think you can tell a difference in not mainly quality, but there's different kind of songwriting in that song in comparison to the others.
Actually, I think that the first time we played a show, we played all the EP plus We Were War, and King's Lions.
Yes, they were already meeting, but we haven't recorded them by that time.
And then we had a pandemic.
Yeah, we had a pandemic.
And we didn't release King's Lions until 2 years later.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, the album. We had a user in YouTube that when we released the first single, he wrote a comment saying that we are rather slow people in songwriting. We said like, come on, it's been 4 years since you released I don't know what. Come on, it's time. You guys have a lot of potential. Come on, you guys. It was like, in fact, he was like, I could notice that he was very angry, but he was like saying, come on, guys, wait, I know you can do this. And I was like, okay, let's go. But it was like an angry comment. Come on, you only have released one EP and 2 singles. What is this?
It was kind of bittersweet because it's like, okay, people want more stuff than us, but at the same time, no, we have to like apart from the music. But it was good. I like that.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing that we could talk about if you want is the Power Trip tribute thing.
That's true.
If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a project we had in mind almost since we knew that Riley passed away. And we had planned to do it the first year, the first anniversary of Riley Gale's death, but we didn't have time, pandemic and post-pandemic shit, and we finally made it this last year. Sorry.
30th anniversary.
And I had the structure made like a long time ago, and we only had to put it together and record it, and it was like it was the first thing that we recorded with our new drummer John. He's not here, and it was super fast.
Yeah, it was like very. We were communicating about. We had no problems. I mean, they were songs that were already written, and the sound that we wanted was already more or less established. We wanted to sound really similar to the original recordings. Yeah, we wanted to pay tribute to them. We wanted it to be like not something about us, but something about them. We didn't want to be the protagonists.
That is something also that we haven't really, make big announcement of it and spread it. We don't spread a listen of our new track. I don't know. It's something we don't want to make profit about.
Yeah,
it's something that we've made. It's the last thing we released. It's still there. You can listen to it, but it's not something we use as a flag. We write, we've made this. This is something that is has been very sad and very tough for the people of the band, and we don't want to feel like we are making profit. Yeah, this is just something we released as fans because we feel the same way, and nothing more. I mean, it's not like the release of our new single that we are going to post it in every page of every anything to have profit. No, this is not. We want to.
We started with something.
Yeah,
and that's something that I think everybody will like somebody else in their case. So we pay tribute to them. And that's it.
Yeah, I really think that what I want to happen with this thing is that someone discovered Electriceel and is listening to our album, and suddenly it's running his phone and he's like, "Oh, they have a tribute to Power Trip!" Like surprised, like they don't know, they found it. Yeah, that's it.
I think it's pretty unlikely that somebody discovers us before Power Trip.
No, that is what I'm trying to say. I don't want people to discover us because we have a tribute to Power Trip. I want them to discover us and then discover that we paid tribute to Power Trip.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that is the point. I don't want to make a profit out of Power Trip and out of one of their members passing. This is something just made by fans. This is what I want them to consider it if they ever take a listen to it.
I think that Power Trip was a big influence for a lot of us because they were like very special in their sound. I think they've never played double bass pedal in their songs, which is like a very metal thing to do, and they don't have a single song with a double bass drum. They're like very peculiar in their song, in their sound, and they've been a big influence. So yeah.
By the way,
Yeah, I
everybody's
actually-
talking about Slayer.
I actually haven't
But-
thought about that with a double bass. But I'm
that's
gonna
something-
think about that next time I listen to them.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I listened to that in an interview they gave to them. Like that's not something I say like, oh, they're not playing double bass. I heard them talking about it, and yeah, if you go through all their stuff, you would see that there's no double bass in their songs. It's pretty cool because they still sound heavy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Enforced's new album.
Mhm.
It's basically power trip with some double bass drum. But it's pretty cool. What I mean is, what I want to say is that everybody's talking about Slayer, but no one's talking about Power Trip coming back.
Have you announced that they're coming back?
Yeah. They announced, I think last week, they said, all right, here's the end of an era,
Yeah.
but we are, it has been very tough for us, but we want to keep doing things.
Mm.
Obviously, respecting everything that they have to
Respect, yeah.
respect.
Who's gonna be the new singer?
I'm not sure. I haven't read it, but
Have they announced who's the new singer?
I think they made like a couple of shows somewhere in the US.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, we were saying that the medley we did was just to pay tribute to them, and that we did it in a non-profitable way.
yeah, that's it. It's basically that. This is just the fan-made version, and nothing more than that.
Yeah, I think you were saying that they have played a couple of songs in the US.
Yeah, I don't know who was the singer, but I think that it's not another band singer. I think that's just a guy from Texas. I think.
Not a famous singer?
No, I think not. But I'm not sure that the reunion of Power Trip is it with that singer, that mysterious singer that came in those shows. But they definitely have made a statement regarding that they are going to keep going as a band.
That's something to
Yeah, I think we shouldn't be talking about Slayer anymore, right?
happen that was like to social media. But I just saw that they're reuniting after Kerry King talking a little bit shit of the
A little bit. Well, I won't say a little bit, but yeah.
I don't know. I'm not
I don't have any problem with them if they split up or they go again together for a couple of shows. I don't have any problem, but I don't understand why is Kerry King talking so much shit about everyone and suddenly, all right, reunited.
Are they, just for a couple of shows, or are they going to release an album, or they're going to do a tour?
For the moment, I think that they only announced 2 shows at 2 different festivals and nothing more.
Yeah,
But
I think those are like the only official dates right now.
Yeah, that's it. But I don't know. I think they are not going to record nothing. I think they're just going to make some exclusive shows and that's it.
I feel
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of the idea I got from it as well.
I feel like there's a lot of bands that reunite after splitting up, but for Slayer, I feel like there's been too little time since they split up and they have reunited again. I don't know when their last show was, but not that long ago, right?
I don't know. I remember that I went to that tour in Madrid and Barcelona. I don't remember. But I went and it was before the pandemic.
So it's like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was like in 2019, something like that.
Yeah, might be. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe it's not the year from their last show. I don't really know how long other bands have stayed apart before becoming together, but for me, it's been like a very short time. Like, why did you even in the first place?
Yeah, I can understand if you have any problem with, for example, one of the singers or one of the bandmates, you can split and after a few years say, okay, let's reunite. But when you see bands like, for example, Slayer or Metallica or Megadeth, if they say they're splitting up, it's because what I can understand about it is not that they have problems with each other. It's something about retiring.
Yeah.
And this is like very, very strange to us because, all right, Slayer is definitely retiring. After a few years, let's get up again. I don't know. Are you retired? Are you going to make things? Are you going to make shows? I don't really understand. For example, Scorpions, they are eternally touring on their last tour because I remember that I went to see them for the last time ever. I was like 16 years old. I don't know.
Like 200 years ago.
And that was like 11 years ago, maybe. And the following year, when I went to see them on their last show, they released a new album, and I saw them at a festival, and I didn't want to see them because I felt like I was scammed.
It's gonna be the last tour. Yeah, come to see us, and it's never the last tour.
And I remember maybe I paid 80 euros to see them, and it was like, I don't know. I felt like they lied to me.
Yeah, actually, I actually also saw Scorpions in like 2015 when I was like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also at a festival actually.
Which one was that?
It was in Barcelona, Rockfest Barcelona.
Rockfest. Nice.
Yeah.
I think I saw them in
You
Hamburg.
went there?
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh, it was that. Yeah.
That's serious? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Serious.
I was there too. Yeah. That's where I see them. The last year they played also in Barcelona, and the next year they played in the Rockfest, and I didn't want to see them because I saw them last year.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
I think that's the first time that I saw Overkill. Maybe that was the year because I went a few years to Rockfest Barcelona. Did they play in that year? Overkill?
I don't think they did.
Maybe that
I'm
was
not
the next
100% sure, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Which other festivals have you been to in Europe?
Festivals.
Yep.
I mean, Rockfest Barcelona, obviously, and then in Gävle, in Sweden.
I don't know.
Also a festival. And
is it more towards like?
what was that?
It's like what genres of metal is it more towards? It's like more generic, like Rockfest.
Gävle is more like extreme metal.
Okay.
So it's like bands like Massacre, Possessed, Dark Angel, bands like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I saw one picture of you wearing our T-shirts with the guys of Massacre,
Yes.
right?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
I remember that guy from Massacre because this last year I was at Obscene Extreme in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And I saw them in the first row. Well, in Obscene Extreme, everything is the first row. You should go. You should go. That's the best festival ever. I don't really enjoy very much grindcore and super extreme metal, but I had the greatest time ever.
Yeah.
Well, you should go.
Yeah, like you see this like footage from that festival. Like it looks like an experience for sure.
Yeah.
Much more than the music, right? So what other festivals have you been?
What was that?
What other festivals were you talking about? You said the Rockfest Barcelona, the Geffel, and any else?
I've been at a few of them. It's mostly like in Gävle. There was one in Barcelona. Then I've been to one festival in Falun as well. That's more like kind of classic power metal stuff towards that. I saw a Saxon there, for example.
Oh, nice. They were
Yeah,
touring.
and I saw a Warbringer there as well, which was actually the time when I experienced Warbringer for the first time. It was live.
I haven't seen them yet. I haven't.
No, me neither. And I love them.
Yeah, that's not right. But I know this is maybe one of the, apart from Toxic Organs, that we saw them last month, that Warbringer is one of the biggest new wave of thrash metal bands that I have left.
Yeah, me too.
Because I have seen Havoc, Municipal Waste, Toxic Holocaust.
Yeah, and what do you think about like festivals becoming very big? Because like I think it was 2014, 2015, and 2016. I went to Hellfest in France, and I really loved it. But for what I've heard recently, it's becoming so big, and there's so many people that it's not the thing it was before. It has so much people going that a lot of guys are not enjoying it anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of like makes a lot of sense to me. It's like I've heard, for example, I've never been to Wacken, for example.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of things about Wacken, like both positive things and both kind of not negative things, but more kind of towards the neutral spectrum, I guess. There's like people think that it's kind of too big of a festival, and that kind of like it's a little bit like you were saying about Hellfest as well, that it can kind of become too big at some point.
I think so. A friend of ours, actually the guy that recorded our albums, went to the last edition of Wacken, and I think he enjoyed it for what he told us. But it was also the year that there was a lot of rain and a lot of mud. So as you said, a lot of positive things, but a lot of course neutral.
Yeah, I've been to festivals when it's been raining a lot as well.
Yeah, that's it. I think that festivals, in some kind of way, they are causing a lot of damage to small bands. Because now bands like our band, the only thing we can reach in terms of success is make it to a festival of our country, because people do not attend so much gigs in venues. They don't attend it that much, because usually people say, I don't want to spend every weekend 10 euros to see a local band when I can go in summer and spend 100 euros and see all the bands I want, and bands I know, and bands I listen to, and these are not bands of kids or people I don't know, or I don't know. And in kind of way, I think that making festivals too big is a problem for small bands. I don't think that big festivals shouldn't exist. That's not my opinion, but I think that it might be harmful to the local scene and the small artists.
Yeah, I can definitely see your point. And I mean that's no, say you.
No, that's the point, that I think that it's going to our goal now is to play shows constantly in venues until we begin to get calls from festivals. That might not happen or could happen, but this will be something that's like an indicator of success in our band.
Yeah, and to kind of go back to that a little bit with your point is that That's one of the things that I really like about Gävle Metal Fest, for example, is that they have like 3 stages, like 2 outside and then 1 inside, and the one a little bit smaller stage inside, they only book like more underground bands, both local but also like from all kinds of places.
Yeah,
it's like
that's it.
there's like 1 stage dedicated to underground metal.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's super cool, and I think that is very cool. People also must not forget that the small bands also might bring some things that you never heard before.
Not
Yeah.
only that, I feel, okay, metal is like a very 80s thing, right? It's when it was big. But people also have to realize that a lot of the big bands are getting old. Like Slayer are retiring, Metallica is getting old. So if you don't give a chance to new bands, in 20 years, there's not going to be more bands. Like there has to be some kind of I don't know. People have to take the space that the big bands are giving, and I understand that people like the bands from the 80s. That was the like the golden time, the golden era of metal. That I mean, I like that there's festivals that are giving more bands a chance to reach more people and to play in bigger venues.
I gotta
Yeah.
say that sometimes some festivals take advantage of small bands because they organize some kind of contests between small bands, and most of the times, or many times I've seen, the goal of the contest is getting votes. And how does a band get votes? By promoting the festival. So the festival gets a lot of attention from all the small bands that are constantly spamming the festival everywhere, and so the festival gets a free promotion as a interchange of swapping and giving a small band that is going to win by votation of everyone opportunity to play at the festival. And that's another point, that who is going to get more votes? The band that is known most, right? So that's not fair.
Well,
I mean, that's
it is, but they're not helping as well.
Yeah, that's it. The point of this is that some festivals make cool things to support underground bands, but others try to give the appearance that they are helping underground bands, and what they really are doing is to self-promote by free and taking advantage of the underground bands. You know.
Yeah, I totally see your point. And I mean, it's kind of like, to go back a little bit to what you said earlier, like about kind of many of like the 80s bands are starting to grow older, and kind of like show that newer bands can also perform like something new and something great as well, and that you shouldn't forget to look at the underground as well. I mean, I think that's a pretty great way to describe our podcast as well, to kind of like define our purpose and kind of what we are trying to achieve. I mean, that's usually kind of how I define us as well as a podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
I really appreciate the whole meeting.
Yeah, that's it.
It's definitely a pleasure for us.
That's very good. Yeah, the thing has to, I mean, there's a lot of newcomers to metal. Every time I go to the place, like the metal pub that we have in our town, I see new faces, and there's a lot of new bands. But definitely metal is not death. But I think there's still a little work to do for people to take a step and shift a little bit to the newer bands.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
Hopefully, with people like you that are promoting small bands and with the effort of everybody, that'll hopefully happen at some point.
Yeah,
I hope. And yeah, anything else you wanna discuss?
um, I don't know. Is there something that you would like to bring up?
I would like to personally thank you a lot because there's few people in the scene that really help and promote and make us feel supported from other countries, and it's very special. And sincerely, I want to say thank you to you and your brother also for helping us, and not only us, but every small band that I know, almost everyone, you've covered them in some episode. That is something I really appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, and thank you very much for taking the time to sit down and talk to me.
It's an absolute pleasure.
It's a pleasure, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you.
So we really hope to see you someday, hopefully near to your town.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, speaking of that, by the way, I mean, do you have any like plans in the near future? I know that you mentioned the tour with biocancer.
Yeah.
But do you have any like other plans to do any bigger tours in Europe overall?
Not yet, I would say.
Not tours, but we might have something out of Spain. But we still don't know yet. It might possibly be true by, we don't know, after summer, we'll see. But by the moment, the problem that we have is that touring is very expensive, and you must be prepared to lose some money. And first, we need to
Play here.
we need to play here, and we need to begin to not lose money touring through Spain, you know. And
Yeah.
afterwards, when we begin not to lose money here, we will be ready to lose money outside.
Well,
That's a little bit.
probably in the near future, we'll try France, because a lot of friends that are playing in bigger bands have told us that it's way better to just go to the south of France, which is very close to us because we live in the north of Spain, and there's a bigger scene than, I don't know, somewhere south of Spain is cool, but somewhere else in Spain that might be even further from France. We'll probably cross the border and try our luck there.
You know, sounds pretty stupid because we have traveled like 12 hours by car to reach the farthest point of Spain, and we are not able to travel 1 fucking hour until France, you know?
Yeah, the border is 1 hour from the town.
1 hour.
So,
It's 1 hour from here.
and there's a bigger scene there, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's anything else that you would like to add, I guess we could stop here.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
That's
So
good.
we can stop here.
Say thank you to you and all your efforts.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you so much.